Okay, we are live here. It's me and Zora, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me make sure that I've got everything all set here. Do. Let's share. There we go. All right. Hello. We are here to make a little bit of art today. We have a really cool image brought to us by my friend S. Tatiana Wild.
It's a bird.
It is. It's a bird. Hopefully you can bring that up on your screen, this kind of greenish bird. I'm going to be just using some pencil. You know, this is an image that lends itself really nicely to a grayscale image. But if you have colored pencils and you'd like to use colored pencils, I think it could turn out great in that too. Maybe I'll decide to use those. Zora is joining me today, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the really special thing is that Zora's birthday was yesterday. She is 10 years old. That's double digits. So that is exciting. That was a fun little party, huh? Where you got to hang with just a few friends. We social distanced, but we did have a little pool party outside, and that was a really nice little treat yesterday. So happy birthday to you. Do you think you're going to be a better artist in your 10th year?
No.
No, you're going to be just the same? You're just going to stay the same?
Yeah.
I think if you keep doing it, you're just going to keep getting better and better. That's how it has worked in my life and with many different things, not just drawing, but music or, even sports, everything. If I practiced, I always improved. So it's the same thing with making art. Did you know that?
What?
It's the same with making art, that if you do it more, then you get better when you practice.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is with your flute too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe you will get better this year.
Mm-hmm.
We just heard that the San Diego Unified School District is going to be starting off the year with online classes, not meeting in person. So very interesting stuff going on in the world, folks. Anyway, this is your cue to put on music that you want to listen to on your side that you will find inspiring. Bring up the image on your computer screen and maybe just have that window open, and then have a window open where you can see what I'm drawing if you would like to sort of get the step-by-step how I'm going to pull it off. Z is joining me, so that's going to be fun. I'm going to flip things around here.
It looks like a green pigeon.
Yeah, it does kind of look like a green pigeon.
With a long beak.
It's sort of like a... can I scoot you over just a little bit, dude?
Hi.
Because...
But the box is
Okay, I'll move the box. Okay, we'll scoot you over just a little bit so I have a little more room.
okay.
This is actually a vertical piece. So I'm going to make my page vertical.
But it looks horizontal.
Well, if you want to make your bird horizontal, that's fine. Yeah, maybe let's do that. Let's just make the bird horizontal. We'll make it take up the majority of our page. And when we start a new image, what we want to do is break it down into its most basic shapes. And so I'm looking at the body of the bird, the whole body. I'm not really thinking about any of the feathers. What do you see, Z?
A tear.
Yeah, like a teardrop with the big round end on the top and then coming down to a point over here in the bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how that goes. It's gonna fit in kind of like this.
No, because it goes off the page.
It goes off the page, but I'm gonna complete those feathers so it's gonna be kind of like that. That's not too shabby. Yeah. That's pretty good. I think it's a little bit, you were gonna share an eraser.
Okay.
It's a little bit more like that kind of a shape. I gave it kind of these corners. And for when you start with, pencil, draw it as light as you can to still be able to see it. I need to make mine a little darker so you guys can see it on video, but you should do it nice and light because that means it will be much easier to erase. Now, the head is kind of just like a circle. It's a little bit, it overlaps quite a bit into our teardrop shape right around here.
How much people are watching?
There are 3 people watching. Hey, even Uncle Knuckle is watching. You can see it rests a little bit high, but it is definitely in the front. Yeah, so kind of like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase any lines that I don't really need, which is mainly this one here. I feel like this comes up a little higher. The area where kind of his shoulder comes up and goes behind his head, it's just was a little bit higher. Yeah, I'll put it there. And then you can see the beak is sort of this curved triangle that comes out right here, right up against his chest. It's a little bit long, right about to there. You can even add just a little bit right there. Right, kind of like that. And you can see it kind of cuts into the face. Kind of like that.
Look weird.
It is a little bit weird. Let's look at Zora's beak. So you have the right idea. I would just start it here. It goes more straight and then curves like this. And then it curves and goes straight like that. Gets a little bit bigger as it goes towards the face, and then you can see it cuts in here, and you can see it kind of goes like this.
With a bunch of lines.
Okay. There's a little eraser back here I can use. Then I'm going to take away the lines that I don't need.
Wait, which? This is really...
You can see there's a little nostril over here.
Why do you draw so much lines?
Well, I'm just kind of trying to lay it in. If you want to, you can sort of start to get the shape of your head a little bit better. There's kind of this flat part that comes up. It's not quite straight up and down.
Could you wait till okay, what?
You see right here? There's like this little corner, and then it goes up. You can see it the head kind of comes straight down into a neck here. And then it does have this big curve that comes all the ways around like this. You can see kind of lining up with this little hump here is going to be where the curve of the next eye is.
Can you move your hand?
And the eye is just like a leaf shape, right? So that's a frowny mouth, and then underneath it you put a smiley mouth.
My head too tall.
Your head's a little bit big. It's not too bad though.
Like a circle head.
It is very circular, but it's not a circle.
Take that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay.
Do we color the lion?
I'm not going to do that yet. Right now, we're just doing a contour drawing. That's where we just do the outline. We don't have to fill anything in yet. So we're just finding the edges. So you can see this comes down and then it actually flattens out a little bit. So about like that. And then I'm going to make this just a little bit, come in just a little bit faster. Like that.
What did you do?
All I'm doing is I'm looking at the picture, the photo here, and I can see that this kind of comes and then goes like that. In fact, this happens a little sooner. It's more like this, and then it comes in like that. What's the problem, buddy?
Nothing.
Okay, seems like you're upset.
I'm not.
Okay, when I'm looking over here, I can see it comes out a little bit further, and then it comes down like this. All I'm doing is I'm trying to get the shape a little bit closer to the way it's supposed to actually be.
Okay, I thought it was the rough part.
Yeah, we're kind of, the thing is the basic shapes are not that difficult and they don't take that long to put on. We pretty much have our bird where we need him to be.
Is my it's way? Like,
Let's take a look at yours. So, you want to put, your head is kind of like this. You want to, like that, just a little bit. So, I can do that for you and help you, or...
wait, I want it like that though.
Oh, okay, well then what are you worried about? It looks great.
Why is it like so big?
You are the
No,
one...
this part.
You make it smaller if it's not right. To me, it would go like this. Yeah, kind of like that. So if you like that line better, then erase the line that you had. If you don't, then that's okay too. Okay, I want to get, we sort of have these feathers that come out over here. So it sort of comes out like this. It's sort of this rectangle, but of course it's not a rectangle. I can see that there's this feather comes in and it goes behind another feather. These are just long U shapes. We've got this one right here, which comes in like that. The next feather comes in front.
I don't have that much room there.
Okay, you just draw it the way that you can. It's not a big deal. This one's about the same length. It's definitely much wider. This has more of like a bit of a bow to it. And then this one gets covered by one that's a little shorter. This one has more of a point to it. It's not quite like a U. It's almost like someone took a V and squished it down a little bit. And then we've got just this one more that's going to fit in right in here. That one kind of comes off the page a little bit. So we're not really sure how that ends. We're just going to kind of make a guess there. Let's go a little bit more diagonal in there. I can start to, they've got this sort of, they're symmetrical, right? They've got...
Hey, Daddy.
Yes.
I have a problem.
What's up?
The feathers here are way too small for the body. But a lot of it would have to go off the page.
Well,
Make them
so
bigger.
you can either have them come off the page, or if you want to try to make the body a little smaller, you can do that. you know, if you compare, my body kind of is a little flatter. It slants off a little flatter. Yours comes down. You could have this come like more like that, and then you'd have more length for your feathers there, and just erase that line. What do you think?
Okay.
If we want to, we can, you know, start thinking a little bit about what our background is going to be. We can certainly add in some of the stuff that's there.
Mine's
If
gonna
we
be
choose.
desert.
Yours is going to be in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is a desert creature or not.
No.
But what I'm going to start to do is figure out where my feathers go. So,
Actually, mine's gonna be at the zoo.
yeah, I'm not going to worry about background right now. I'm going to go in and start doing these feathers, which are basically kind of U-shapes. You can see that, like right in here, you have these feathers that kind of come to an end before you get to the wings. These are the wings here. You can see they're just these overlapping, where this one's in front and then this one, and then this one is behind that. And maybe you could add one more in there. Something like that.
Wait, where?
I'm doing these.
Tiny.
You can see there's like this crescent that sort of comes in like this, but then we have to actually make the feathers that fit in within that little arch there. So on this side, you can see these are like almost like knife blade feathers.
Knife blade.
Yeah. Here's another one. And another.
How many are there?
Well, I'm just sort of copying it and copying the shape I see. Hope everybody out there is healthy and having good lives right now. You know, it's pretty weird times that we live in. You're just going to have these overlapping feathers that make these lines. It's pretty dense with lines in there and hard to see exactly how it goes. But I'm happy with this.
Like that?
We do have to make some progress. Yeah, more or less. Now here I can see,
There's an airplane flying by our house.
yes, there is. There's a feather that fits in here, and then there's another one that's in front of it. And these all, again, kind of have like a leaf shape end where it comes to a point. And then there's another one that comes in here. And then this one comes in here. Okay, this guy. These guys are big. They're pretty big feathers. And then we've got one that comes in here. And then we've got smaller ones that sort of all overlap, one on top of the next. Hard to tell if that's part of the wing or part of the body. I'm guessing part of the wing because I can see in this next section you've got more feathers that are getting smaller. It also looks like you've got a little gray feather that comes out here. And then some other long kind of feather that fits in here like this. All these have that central kind of I don't know what you call that. Looks like a vein in the leaf or something. Okay, so then, yes, that looks great. So then we've got another arch of feathers that comes in right in here, like so. And then there's something weird happens here where you just have another feather off on its own here, kind of like this.
Wait.
It's not a part of. It's
Why
not
is
a part of.
that feather so humongous?
That's because that's going to be all those feathers. I'm just getting the shape of it so I can say, like, okay, here's this feather is going to come in right around here, and then it goes underneath the next one, which fits in right in here. There's one that comes in right in here, and then another one right in here, and then in here. So you see, it's much easier if we have a shape to go up against, and then one more right in here. And then this one actually has a little notch in one of the feathers, like that.
This is what mine looks like.
That looks pretty good, Z. Very good. Nice job. I guess I had mine a little bit off to the side, so I've got to put mine back here. Keep going, dude. So we can kind of continue those. These kind of go underneath those feathers. See if I can get rid of some of these extra lines. We can also, well, so you can already see they're going to be smaller as we go back. So let's see. There's one here, but it goes behind this one, which goes behind this one. Which one starts in front? And then there's another smaller one there. But one behind. These start coming along like this.
Goes all the way across.
They start to, yeah, look at on the bottom, they start to come like this. They curve all the way around. You can kind of fill in if you're missing, if you have big spaces as we move back, because there are lots of gaps to fill, and there are generally some extra feathers in there. Now, some people would want to take the time to look at every single little feather and get it exact. We're trying to get this done within the hour, and we're almost halfway through, so I'm gonna do a little bit of fudging here and try to get it close without worrying about getting it perfect.
Could I do a lot of fudging?
You can do as much fudging as you want. That's the great thing about making art.
I did a lot of fudging.
Is that it's your piece. You can use artistic license and make it any old way that you choose. In general, the feathers start to get a little smaller as we work up the towards the head. Although you can see, like in this section, there are some big feathers that are kind of a little more spread out, So I just want to sort of get this section in here and draw it the way I see it, and then I'll fill in around it. If I can figure out where, okay, so that's there. So then there's a bigger guy that comes down like that. And then this feather is a little bit deformed. I mean, nothing major, but you can see some of the feathers are a little bit cockeyed here. And then like over here, there's this area where it's just like layer upon layer upon layer of little feathers. So many packed in tightly into one little spot, just little slivers showing. Over here, you've got these feathers coming down like this.
Here's my look.
Let's take a look at Z's. She really started filling in a lot of feathers here. Lots of them. You're starting to get a little bit muddy, but I really like it,
I
Z.
want them like that.
Okay, well then that's your choice. That's your choice. You can see over here, they're kind of coming down like this. They're like straight down over here. Got a little bit of wispy feathers happening right under the beak there. I can even puff this out a little further. Then they start to become like kind of more like lemon wedges, a little like narrower, smaller, or like the sun is setting behind some hills over here, upside down. But that's how I see it. These all come around. As they go around the edge there, they sort of get smaller and a little foreshortened. These are like flattened up here. Yeah, over here, they're like parentheses. Parenthesis. And then they start to turn into more of like a smile. They get bigger. It's weird, they kind of stretch off to the side there. And then they just really stretch back. A lot of feathers, huh, Z?
What?
A lot of feathers.
Yep.
Some Sometimes you want to put them really closely overlapping. I'm just sort of letting my sections connect little by little.
Wow, they look way different.
That's okay. They've all got that middle line.
Mine are lemon wedges.
Yours are lemon wedges?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they do kind of have that vibe to them, so that's okay. Okay. There's sort of these straight diagonal guys that come along here. Okay. I'd say my body is pretty much done.
Hey, could you wait for me a minute? Mine looks like a knit scarf.
Now, the feathers on the head, they're not that different, although we do have more of like a V shape. They are small towards the beak, and you can see they all kind of radiate out from the beak. And then they swoop underneath here. And then you got just these small little guys that come down right to the body. These guys come down. They actually start to come out around the eyes. Again, small. If you want to fill in the eye, just leave a little hot spot up there. You can see they're sort of longer, almost hair-like lines, feathers right underneath the eye here.
points for the head?
Well, see how the feathers kind of radiate out from the beak,
Yeah.
and then they kind of radiate out from the eye, and then you have these like long feathers that are almost like hairs here right underneath the eye leading to the beak. These guys get bigger as they come down. It's all about getting the direction correct. These start to become a little pointier. Again, I'm just going to sort of fill in the space, maybe go a little bit over that border that I made. These are a little rounder. And then it's the same thing. I'm just going to kind of fill in, knowing that they get bigger as I move out away from the eyes. That is the idea. Lots of these have little middle lines. So once you have your contour drawing done, then you're ready to start to shade. Start to get your dark areas dark and your light areas light. I can already see the lower part of the beak here is pretty dark. A little bit of a dark nostril. Beak. It's got some darker areas, and then it definitely has some lighter areas too. Some distress on the beak. Now, around each feather, it is dark. As you come up to the feather tip, the feather itself is light. So there's like this, each feather is casting a shadow. Well, yes, they've all got that line in the middle. You know, you can look at the image on the screen too. You don't have to just copy me. So yes, I need to emphasize every edge of every feather with a shadow. this is the part that's going to take so much time. But I'm glad I at least got the contour drawing done, and I'll be able to get a little bit of this done so you'll see
I'm doing
the process.
background.
You're going to do the background? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you could see it, by the way.
Oh, you want to show yours?
Mhm.
That looks pretty cool, Z. Nice job. Oh, hey there, Jules. All right. No problems, Jules. You can catch up in the recording, but I'm glad to hear from you. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to continue doing. I'm essentially creating a shadow that blends out into the feather itself, but letting the edges of the feather stay light so we don't lose the feathers themselves. The thing to remember when we're doing this is that there really is no light and dark, there is no line. We don't have outlines around our bodies. There's no outlines. There's only where the edge of something stops, and then where the background or whatever's behind begins. So having an outline is an illusion. It's mainly just you see the edge because the edge is light and the background is dark, or vice versa. But you can see how just a little bit of shadow makes such a big difference. Can you scoot over a little bit? Just slow down. No rush. Boy, it feels so good to make a drawing, though. I tell you, I've been doing electronics. I did it last week for summer camp, but I'm doing it again for this week. So we're not doing a lot of artistic stuff in there. It's a different type of art. We are making different circuits and challenging them to do different projects. So it's a lot of fun for sure, but it's definitely exercising a different part of my brain than when I'm doing this. I don't know. It's all problem solving. It's just a different kind of, solving problems with images instead of trying to solve a problem using wires and batteries. Excuse me. There's like a lighter area, and then it gets darker again. The really great thing about using pencil is the pressure sensitivity. If you just don't press down very hard, then you get a light mark, and that's great for when you're trying to get a gradation of lightness and darkness. You want it to be really dark in one area, and then just by easing up on how much pressure you put, you can create a lighter version of that same shade. Sort of create this a gradation from dark into your light, which is what happens on all these feathers. And then the only thing you have to really be thinking about is what's in front and what's behind. You know, which feather comes first, which is in front, and what is it casting a shadow on. The one thing you really want to avoid is areas where you don't want muddy areas if you can help it. You want things to look clear. You want to be able to tell what things are. I mean, unless...
Muddy areas?
Yeah, you do, but you said that that's what you wanted, so... Okay. That's good. We got about 15 minutes left to work, so it's up to you when you think you're done. Maybe I can show your piece when you decide you're finished. Okay.
I'm gonna make little pieces of bark everywhere.
Yeah, you're working pretty hard on the background, huh?
I'm working pretty hard on everything. I think my proportions are a little off, though.
You said calling this done?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is coming together. Yeah. This is a little light in here. I want to erase some of this. The nice thing is now a lot of my shadows can cover up some of the mistakes that I made. You know? That's a big part of making art, is learning how to cover up mistakes. Or use the mistakes to, push you to be more creative in your solution. The great thing about art when it comes to problem solving is that there's so many ways you can solve a problem. It's almost infinite.
Okay, I think I'm done now.
All right, let's take a look at Zora's. I can definitely tell it's the same bird, dude. That looks good. Jules says she likes that you sign your pieces, and she says it looks good.
And that one's a puddle, and that one's a puddle, and this is all bark here.
Sure.
And then these are little rocks.
I see that. Very, very nicely done, buddy. That's pretty tricky, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think your beak might be just a little big, but other than that, I think you nailed it.
Oh yeah, I need to do the beak a little better too.
Sure.
This should be in.
I think you did a great job there.
Okay, I'm gonna show Mom.
Yeah, go show Mom.
Bye.
Okay. Here we go. Well, you can see I'm definitely not going to be able to finish the whole thing in the time that we have, but I'm going to make some pretty good progress, and you can really see the way that I would handle the body, because it's pretty much the same thing, except for the shadows are really, really defined, like the black around the edge of this is like really a heavy black shadow, I believe. Maybe that's a part of the feather. Maybe it's not. I think that is a shadow. I think this is all shadow here. Right, and then this is really dark also. So between the shadow and that central part of the feather, you can, work on getting the shapes looking really good. That's really going to tighten the piece when I do that. But I want to really finish this head here first, because the edge of that is the first area where it's just very, very black and defined right in here. Yeah, not bad. Yeah. Yeah, Zora's solution to having so many feathers is to just kind of scribble it in. That is a big issue with young students, is that they don't have the patience to just make the shapes that are there. So you can see down here, the shadows are definitely not as dark. And some of them look like maybe the shadows are a part of the feather. But definitely, like all through here, we're dealing with very, very dark shadows. Or like I said, maybe it's the edge of the feather. In which case, that's pretty cool too. Yeah. So you can also see like some of these feathers are gonna have some shadow and some highlight. You can see all this is a little darker over here. Right? this guy, I can see it's like dark along the edge here. Bigger. This isn't quite right, but this is all shadow here. Like that. So you got to not only pay attention to the edges and the shadow that happens there, but the shadows on each particular feather also. It's not a small job. The positive part of it is, if you got this far, everything is there and it's just a matter of filling in. You know, we're trying to make everything as detailed and looking good like that there. Like the head on this guy. Big shadow here. All right. That's looking pretty good. I didn't do any sort of background yet. We could put them anywhere. We could put them in a tree. Right? I'd want to finish all this. I'd want to shade the whole thing. But for an hour, this is really good progress. I hope you guys had a fun time working with me. I hope you had some success. I'm going to flip things around and say goodbye. Zora already bailed, but the least I can do is say, have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll do another one of these on Monday. Have yourselves a great week, and I love you. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.